afternoon, everybody. Been kind of a busy week this week, and hopefully now my audio should be a lot better. Got a new mic. As you see, kind of cleaning up the shop a little bit. We've had to wash 4 of these combines here the last few weeks, but now instead of washing one of them, we're gonna go through and ceramic coat this one. So this one's a local farmer to us. Just gonna go through and come out with a one-step. You can see the little bit of a difference between there and there. And then we're gonna go ahead and coat this whole thing. This is where the tricky part comes in, and that's back in this big combine with an auger that sticks out 10, 15 feet out of the back end into the shop here. So what I gotta do is pull it in here, finagle it to line it up with the door, because the door is only 20 feet wide and the combine is damn near 20 feet wide as well. So I don't have too much room or wiggle room on the sides to really mess up here, but we'll try to get it here on the first shot. So I just got to kind of finagle it in. Give you an idea of just how close I am. There's that side and there's that side. So about 6 inches on each side, realistically. So just to give you guys an idea of the paint condition on this thing, you can see it's pretty cloudy, a lot of chemical staining, stuff like that. But then you go to my little test spot here, and it's clear. So from that to that, and this is what we want. We want it to be optically clear, no oxidation, stuff like that. And the nice thing too is that the polish we're gonna use has no fillers, no hydrocarbon solvents, nothing like that. So we're not masking anything at all before the coating step. So, okay, so the first step before we do this is to go ahead and just kind of get all the surface, dirt, dust, stuff like that, and rinseless washing it all off. Just that way we can get stuff like this right on here off of it, so it's not getting caught in our pad and stuff like that. Okay, so same thing as kind of like before, right? Stained, gross. Now we got this. So just a little 50-50, but what's really nice too is that whenever I'm doing this, so I'll look through basically every inch of it. Like I hit this edge here, and I just know that I need to hit it a little bit more going down towards the bottom. But otherwise, for a one step, this is actually turning out really beautiful. So what we'll do is this whole panel up to the edges where it rounds over, down around on the insides here, and then we do the unload auger all the way down and around. So should be, I'd say about a day and a half to do this thing start to finish. Considering that it's just going to be a one step for the most part. On this combine here, so got most of the other side done, but here I'll try to get it in the reflection of the light. That's all the chemical staining that we're trying to take out. So the first test spot that we did foam and just a polish. Wasn't quite enough, so now we're gonna still use polish, but use a more aggressive pad, and that's what's really pulling off all of that etching now. So we needed to go something just a little bit more aggressive down here and stuff, just to pull off that staining. But you know, most people would have been happy with the foam and polish that it looked like before, but that's just one thing that kind of sets us a little bit different, is we just want to go that little bit extra. Is it as clear or as shiny? Probably not, because there's going to be a little bit of haze, but if we're able to remove that staining, then it's well worth to have a little bit of haze left over. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and continue rocking this side out. Okay, so I had to run outside real quick because we are currently washing up this combine out here now, but other than that, we got this panel cut, polished, that panel cut and polished. We ended up having to two-step it just because the chemical staining was just so bad that I could have gotten by with a one-step, but instead I decided, hey, you know what? It takes maybe 15 minutes to polish it, but the cutting, it takes the longest part. But I decided, hey, you know what? It might take us an extra 15 minutes per panel. So what? 30, 45, an hour and 15 extra just to go through and polish it, but it turned out a lot better. So now you can see Any marks you see now is just because we didn't fully wipe off the polish, but now there's no more staining or etching. Those are actually lines from the polisher. You can see we were doing some test spots and stuff like that. Not doing the wheels on this one. We might go through and touch up the ladder a little bit, not too sure. Not gonna do any of the undershielding on this one or the back wheels because the owner's getting different wheels. We are gonna go through and do the entire unload auger. But as you guys can see here, I mean, it is a pretty substantial difference. And that side's not even coated yet, is the craziest part. But otherwise, we're gonna start working on this back end here and get going on it. Well, that's probably about as far as we're gonna get here before the weekend. So we got this whole side cut and polished. Went ahead and we did part of up here. So the roof is all cut and polished. We do these little pieces all the way back. This is all cleaned off, polished up. We just polished this, not to add a shine, but just to deep clean it and stuff like that. But other than that, slowly but surely, we'll probably have it done late Monday or early Tuesday, one of the two. But till then, we'll see you guys after the weekend.
The next day.
I've been having to tint that Suburban. I gotta do all the windows all the way around. He actually said he wants it looking like a Mafia vehicle, but Donnie and Matt are over here working on this side now. And as you can see, pretty heavily stained versus over there. Looks pretty good. So otherwise, we got the entire back all polished up, ready to be coated. And then on the roof part, which I'll show you, on this guy. So anytime we do a combine, we always go through and do the unload auger all the way around. We actually unfold it out to gain access into that little area in there. But otherwise, we'll do like that little trim piece there. We do the roof, this plastic gets done, the mirrors, this plastic, the beacons, all the glass, these side panels, the metal, the rubber gaskets. Don't really get into here very much, but you can see the whole top here is looking really good. And we actually, I'll bring you guys up there where Jordan's working, but we actually do sometimes, if the combine's newer or cleaner enough, so like brand new ones, we'll actually do like up in here and stuff because there's not much prep work that needs to be done for this. On this particular combine, we're probably not gonna do it, but we might do like these shielding here. Might just prep and coat, maybe not polish these ones up in there. Again, it just comes down to price and stuff like that. I mean, you start talking pretty big dollars if you want every inch, like the axles, the rear chopper, all the other stuff done. Otherwise, up in the back here, what we normally do as well is all this little area and stuff like that. Just that way when you wash it, it just makes it a breeze. So we'll go through and do this piece, the engine covers, the air cleaner here. We don't really get too worried about the floor all that much, but yeah. And then we do all the way around on the lip here, even where it goes inside and stuff like that. But other than that, no, it's just turning out really good. Here, I should be able to show you guys. Oh, it doesn't let me zoom in on this thing, I guess. But you can see right there is where we did, and he hasn't touched there. So that's the difference. And that's just cut. That's not even polished or coated yet, so it's just gonna keep getting better and better from there. Okay, so I just got done tinting this Chevy Suburban. Now we got to decon wash it and coat it. This is gonna be tomorrow's project more than likely, but just did 20 over factory, dropped the rear down to 5, did the front in 5, all in ceramic window tint, so it rejects the most amount of heat and stuff like that. But what I really wanted to show you guys was up top here of this combine, because obviously you guys have seen, you know, before and afters and everything like that, but I wanted to get real up close here. So this is what it looked like before. So a few scratches up top there, stain, burn, chemical burning, all that. And then we come over to here, a little bit of scratches left, but that's okay, just because there's not enough paint there to actually remove the scratches from what we found. But you can just see the difference in the reflection of the light here. And actually, if I get my Milwaukee light, so you can see, if you look into the light, all of that's in the surface, versus if you come down over here, this is what we can make it look like. Now, keep in mind that's not polished, that is just cut. So once we polish it, it's gonna refine it even more. Once we ceramic coat it, it won't necessarily refine it more, but it'll add just a shine and a gloss to it and also protect it and keep it this way. That's why we're going through all of this work, is to prepare the surface for the coating. Because otherwise, if we were just to coat this panel like this, first off, it would fail, you know, in 6 months or so, but then we would be locking in all of this staining and stuff like that versus making it look beautiful like this. So just really wanted to show you guys that, and yeah, just that way you guys can get a visual appeal. Now, imagine that across, I actually measured out this combine the other day. So imagine that across 40 feet long all the way here. So yeah, it's definitely looking better now. Okay, so now we begin the polishing stage to try to refine it, because you can see all that light cloudiness that came from the haze of the actual compound. So now we're going to refine it down and make it even better.
The next day.
Okay, so now what we're doing on the combine here is going through and prepping it here with this mixture, just to remove all of the oils and stuff like that from the polishing that might be on the surface, just that way then we get proper coating adhesion. Okay, so now that we went through, we actually polished up the edges on the inside where that shield closes up. So now all the hard work is done. We are left with raw virgin paint here that's free of oils, free of basically everything on the surface. So now this is ready to be coated. Biggest thing is when you're working on a panel this big, it's nice to stay organized. So what I typically do is I'll work in sections straight up and down. So I'll coat that one, let it sit for a minute, do the one beside it. By the time I'm done with that one's ready to wipe off. By the time I'm done wiping that section off, I'll wipe that off, and then just continue down the line. So the biggest thing is whether we're prepping or coating, not necessarily when we're polishing, because it's not quite as important at that step. But one thing that we definitely do is we always wear gloves anytime we're dealing with the coating or the prep, because just the oils from our hands alone can actually interfere with coating adhesion and stuff like that. And so the coating that we mostly use for farm equipment, except for like on wheels or really old stuff, is war coatings. The only thing though is that this bottle is about $1,000, so we'll actually transfer it over to a smaller bottle, like maybe about one that's this big or so. And I'll actually go grab the bottle that I'll use. So basically we'll take that big bottle and we'll transfer into these little ones, and just in case we drop these ones, they won't break for whatever reason. I don't know why. But then let's just say this was to break, we're only out maybe $100 for this bottle versus the big 1,000 one. And then we'll use these applicators from Auto Fiber. These are the Thin Saver applicators. We'll go ahead and do kind of like a line through here, prime the applicator, and then I'll just use half the applicator per side basically. And then we got two towels. One's a Eagle 350, I believe. And this is kind of our insurance towel. And then we also have a Pearl towel. This is gonna be our 90% towel. This is our 10% towel. So now you guys can see what I use, and we're gonna go ahead and start coating. Okay, so got my applicator here, got my coating here. And so what I do is I'll shake it up really good and make sure that I get everything mixed together in the bottle, kind of like paint. And then what I'll do is I'll add about that much onto the applicator just to get started. And what I'll do as well is I'll keep the bottle here in my pocket, just that way then if I ever have to refill on the go, it's just right there ready for me. So I'll do, spread it around a little bit on the applicator, draw my puddle line. So now this is where 80% of the coating is right here on this line. Let me see if I can get you guys a little better angle. There we go. So now what I'll do is I'll take that line and I'll spread it out. And every time I'm passing over that line, I'm grabbing more and more coating. I can see I still have quite a bit here on my applicator, so I'm going to go a little bit further. I'll work down. Okay, now it's coated, so now I'm just going to let it sit here. And basically what it is, it's known as changing phase, or letting basically all of these lines, if I can get it in the light here, basically waiting for that to thin out. That's basically based on, there's no specific time metric for that. It can be anywhere from 30 seconds to a few minutes. It just depends on humidity, temperature, stuff like that. But definitely gonna let it sit here for a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit more to my applicator here. Just a few drops is all. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do this little section now. Because now I know I coated all the way to the S, staying organized. So I'm gonna work my way back around. I could maybe do the next section over, but with how the coating is kind of setting up here, it'll probably be ready in the next 30 seconds or so. I'm kind of waiting for all this to start phasing or thinning out, if you will. And that, what that is that's just all the solvents and everything else basically off gassing or evaporating, if you will. Okay, so now it's been a little bit here, so I'm gonna take this towel. And again, this is gonna wipe off about 80% of all the coating. And then this is my insurance towel, this plush guy. And I'm not actually removing the coating. What I'm doing is filling in the voids where maybe I had a little bit more coating here, because you gotta understand this is on a microscopic level. So now, I just gotta repeat that 100,000 times through the rest of the combine. Okay, so now on this S770, as you guys saw, I coated all this. This is all coated now, and then the guys just got the unload auger all buttoned up. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the back and then the opposite side, and this thing's done. Okay, so now that you guys saw the after shots here, you might be wondering, why would I want to get my combine here ceramic coated? The reason being is all the residue and stuff like that, especially if you have a chopping corn head, you don't even have to scrub off. We've done multiple combines where guys have just used a cold pressure washer and we're able to get off 90% of the residue. And the other cool thing too is the water behavior. So if you look, I mean, it's just beating right off. So imagine having that for the next 7+ years roughly. So all the side panels are all done all the way around, the unload auger, the glass, the grain tank extensions, the whole entire roof, or the second feed house as I like to call it, is now all protected. So you're not gonna have to ever buff it again, never gonna have to wax it again, that sort of stuff. So now that this combine is protected, it's basically ready to go out into the field here. So, but yeah, like even this back end, as compared to the water just being parked down here. Anyways, so that's gonna do it for this video. It's probably gonna be a little bit of a longer one, try to capture as much as I could here, but if you're interested in getting your equipment coated or tinted or even just cleaned up, there's gonna be a link down below. Feel free to fill out the form, and we'll see you guys in the next one. The only thing I ask, it doesn't cost you guys anything, but if you're watching this, just be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the algorithm, helps get this video out more, and basically kind of tells me that I should be doing this a little bit more. So, all right, until next time.